Was Auschwitz impossible because the crematoria ovens didn't have enough fuel? No, of course not. That's one of the biggest lies you'll ever hear about the Holocaust, but it's also incredibly easy to call out, so let's do it. So a bit of background information. There were 5 crematoria buildings at the Auschwitz complex. Crematorium 1 at the Auschwitz main camp, and from left to right, top to bottom, crematoria 2, 3, 4 and 5 at the Birkenau death camp. The furnaces in the crematoria were fueled by coke, which is a type of solid fuel that burns much better than coal. This claim is based on the theory that Auschwitz couldn't have happened because there just wasn't enough coke to cremate all the corpses. But this argument is worthless because the records of coke deliveries to Auschwitz are incomplete. They only run from February 1942 to October 1943, but the ovens continued to operate for more than another year. So it's impossible to calculate whether or not there was enough coke because we don't fully know how much of it was delivered to Auschwitz in the first place. There's also the fact that when the deportations to Auschwitz reached their highest levels in the spring and summer of 1944 and the ovens simply couldn't keep up, corpses were burned in open-air pits behind Crematorium 5. That's almost certainly why there's smoke rising from that exact area in this aerial photo of Birkenau taken by the Allies in August 1944. Some prisoners even managed to secretly take photos of these pits and smuggle them out of the camp. Obviously, I'm not going to reproduce these photos here, but they're easy enough to find online, and in the one you're looking at right now, the photographer fumbled the camera while standing in the doorway of one of Crematorium 5's gas chambers and accidentally photographed the sky and some trees instead. Anyway, the point here is that since we know that bodies were burned in open-air pits and that there's photographic evidence of this happening, arguments like how much fuel the ovens had and how many corpses they could burn per day are ultimately completely irrelevant. And there's also the fact that while the ovens were designed to burn coke, they could also burn wood, and they did so when coke supplies ran low. For example, this workforce report by the SS lists 30 Holzablader or wood unloaders based at one of the crematoria, and this photo taken shortly after liberation shows an enormous pile of chopped wood by the ruins of Crematorium 3. Birkenau was in an area full of birch trees. In fact, the word Birkenau in German literally means birch meadow. If the SS needed fuel for the ovens, all they had to do was get it chopped down and dried out. And they did. So if someone says that Auschwitz was impossible because the ovens didn't have enough fuel, what they're actually telling you is that the Nazis had nothing to burn in an area surrounded by trees. These calculations and arguments about coke and fuel may sound intelligent at first, but don't be fooled. They're easily shown to be worthless and irrelevant. And of course, like all Holocaust denial claims, none of them explain what happened to all the people who disappeared following their deportation to Auschwitz and what happened to them if they supposedly didn't lose their lives there.